is what we call
hater shit.
There is no better term.
5:05 a.m. Saturday morning. Me trying to pump and be on my phone. LOL. What? Who has the hands-free breast pump? Are you kidding me? Now you're trying to get a new breast pump? You don't need a breast pump. I really highly doubt that baby is drinking a drop of that milk. You don't need a breast pump. The only reason why you're doing this is to help you lose weight. That is so messed up and selfish.
So I'm using
It looks like she turns around to see if anyone's like coming or she could hear anyone. I want to know so bad. Does she share a room with someone? Is it Xavier or is Xavier on the other side? Does she have to stay with anyone? Because sometimes she do be looking around. Because I don't think she's supposed to be on her freaking phone.
So I'm using the Medela pump and style. Who has the handless breast pump?
No one for you.
Anyone? I really like this one. Gets the job done quickly and efficiently, but I'm like always propping one bottle on my leg, which is very bad for my posture.
Oh my gosh, you haven't breastfed. You are such a liar. You've never breastfed before. You have never breastfed before. Do you know how many things I've had to do while breastfeeding and holding on to them things? And that was before the little nifty, smart, easy ones you just click on. You know how hard it is to breast pump? You have to have two hands. Yeah, you put it on your lap. I have laid it down before whilst I could use my hand to do something else for my baby. And then you got to pick it back up and then you got milk sliding down. But hey, you got to do what you got to do because you got kids. And I was also breastfeeding for my kids. You're breastfeeding to lose weight and you're just pissing me off.
Who has the handless breast pump? Anyone?
I wouldn't tell you.
I really like this one. Gets the job done quickly and efficiently, but I'm like always propping one bottle on my leg, which is very bad for my posture. Do you guys like the hands-free one?
Makeup and recap this afternoon following my workout. So if you're new here, tune in around 2 p.m. for that. Are you really going to go live? Are you really going to go live? Because you usually lie. I'll be at a birthday party, kid's birthday party, anywho.
Oh, good morning, you guys. I woke up a little bit late today because I slept through my first pump, and I woke up at like 4 a.m. freaking out about the pump. So I pumped at like 4:30 to 5.
That's how obsessed she is with losing weight. None of this has anything to do with that baby getting any of this milk. He's not. So all this she's doing all this for weight loss. Imagine if she put this much pressure and energy and concentration into getting her kids back, into getting a job, into getting a house, and getting back on her feet. But dang, if it's about losing weight, she'll do it.
It's definitely bringing my uterus back to pre-pregnancy size and shape.
Told you.
So I'm 4 weeks postpartum, and it's just flying by. I'm pumping a lot and getting things in order, going from a tent to being inside.
You're such a brat. You're about to be right back outside. You better watch yourself.
It's a big change, so I'm very grateful for it.
Are you really? You need to show it. Start working. Do something.
We're still looking for, the next step and our answers as to how this could have happened, but...
How this could have happened? I'm going to have to, replay this, because every word she says, I have to debate. I can't... What do you mean? You don't know how this happened? Again, here you are, laid up in the bed, Heather. I don't have to be there. I don't have to know everything to know what you need to start doing. This shouldn't even have to tell you. It's pretty obvious.
More so than anything, we're just grateful that it's not happening anymore.
She doesn't believe that because she knows she's going to start up shit.
You guys are new here. I'm going to kind of recap what's been going on over the last year. Oh, good morning, you guys. I woke up a little bit late today because I slept through my first pump, and I woke up at like 4 a.m. freaking out about the pump. So I pumped at like 4:30 to 5. It's definitely bringing my uterus back to pre-pregnancy size and shape. So I'm 4 weeks postpartum, and it's just flying by. I'm pumping a lot and getting things in order, going from a tent to being inside. It's a big change, so I'm very grateful for it. We're still looking for, the next step and our answers as to how this could have happened, but more so than anything, we're just grateful that it's not happening anymore. If you guys are new here, I'm going to kind of recap what's been going on over the last year later this afternoon. Gonna make up with me. So
I love it whenever Instagram kicks her off. She just ready to talk. Tea at 2. I can't stand Oh, she gonna make a podcast. Tea at 2. Heather Gillespie, a.k.a. Coco Chanel, YSL, a.k.a. Centenum, a.k.a. The Real Mrs. Smith.
So if you guys want to tune in at 2 p.m., that's fantastic. I'm Heather Gillespie. I have GoPro Solo. I'm also applying for other jobs. I've never been homeless before in my life. Unless you count in like a few days in between apartments, like when I would break up from a relationship and be like, I'm leaving, and then the time it took to get into another apartment. But I pretty much like stayed with friends or family during the...
So that's where it started. When did you ever... I don't know if she ever got her own place. She says she did, but we can't believe everything she says, so I have to fact check that. Well, honestly, I don't even care. But when did you ever decided, Heather, like, why are you so dependent on everybody else? Like, this is a perfect example. Why would you have to stay with your boyfriends? Like, why wouldn't you go get your own place? I'd be damned if I'd be just fucking dependent on someone else. Like, are you kidding me? Especially if you're just dating them. You should think in your head, like, I want my own house. I want my own apartment. Whatever you want, Heather, it needs to be yours. Not where you're always staying with the boyfriend. I feel like you've always just been like this, always entitled, and you've never wanted to do anything for you. You just want to kind of mooch off of others.
Those times, since 2020, I've been going through it like a lot. COVID changed my life along with some domestic issues.
Stop blaming COVID on shit. Can you please stop? I'm about tired of hearing that damn word anyway.
2020, I have 4 children. I just gave birth to my newborn son, Weston Gillespie, on February 19th. I have a 10-year-old Alexis, I have a 15-year-old Lewis, and I have a 17-year-old Viviana. So I'm going to tell you guys all the tea at 2, and we'll see you then. And I have no idea what happened to my lip.
You're such a liar. Heather, we know you be watching.
We'll see you then.
Her kids are probably like, oh my gosh, great. Fucking great. I was so mad as she said my name, and then she said she was going to go live and spill the tea at 2. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I hope I never embarrass my kids like that.
And I have no idea what happened to my lip.
We lose ourselves a little when we become mothers, but that's okay. Mothers are awesome at finding lost things besides you. What the fuck? Everything's always lost with you. I want my child to be able to say, my mom was a strong mom. I am who I am because of her. She never gave up, even when things got tough. She did it all for me. I can't stand this. This is the one that hurts me because I've immediately think of the oldest daughter, and it breaks my heart because I don't know if that's how she feels, and every daughter should be able to feel like this. Behind the scenes, more milk. Was that Xavier laughing and then the thing squeezing? Because it made it sound like there was like a room full of people. 11:29 a.m. Saturday. Yeah. 3:23:24.
Okay, so do you guys see how much milk is being produced by the right breast versus the left breast?
Oh my gosh, I just now realized you're sitting there holding it. What the heck? Oh.
So
What the
weird. I don't know what is going on. I'm producing like 6 ounces every pump, but like 4 of the ounces are coming from the right and only 2 from the left. Has anyone else had that problem?
Yes, everybody. If you fucking ever breastfed, like you lied about, you would know this. But you obviously never breastfed, liar. It's totally normal. Freak. Freak a leak. 11:37 a.m. It looks like someone punched me in the lip. WTH.
Also, you guys were going to be out signing autographs inside.
Shut up. No, she did not. Oh my gosh, look at her lip. Dang, y'all. I'm not making fun of this. It kind of concerns me. Why is her lip purple like that? Bitch, did you get punched? Sometimes she be acting like, oh, it looks like someone punched me. Well, someone maybe did.
Also, you guys were going to be out signing autographs inside of the St. James Cathedral.
Stop. That's not even funny.
I'm just kidding. We're not going to be signing autographs, but we're going to church tomorrow morning. So if you guys are in the Chicago area and you...
Okay, that's good, but nobody wants to go to church with you right now, Heather. Especially a random church. If they're not that religion, they probably will not go. Not all people believe in the same things.
Also, you guys were going to be out signing autographs inside of the St. James Cathedral. I'm just kidding. We're not going to be signing autographs, but we're going to church tomorrow morning. So if you guys are in the Chicago area and you are into the whole pray and...
Into the whole pray? Are you kidding me? Oh gosh. Wow, Heather, you literally have no idea.
Improve your life and do good things.
And do good things? Yeah, you're not talking about relationship with God here. You're just talking about being a good person.
We would love to meet you. Xavier and I will be attending Mass tomorrow morning at St. James Cathedral. So, you guys, literally, I woke up with this. And I use Aquaphor. I have done pretty much everything in a medical office that you can think of that makes the medical office run effectively and efficiently. And I'm very grateful for all of those years' experience. I'm actually currently right now applying to 1,000,001 jobs, not literally, obviously. And I was also interested in looking for sponsors who will help me start up my own practice.
12:04 p.m.
I'm doing tea at 12 instead of tea at 2, and I'm moving it to the GoPro solo page because this page still has me not allowed to do lives. So meet me on the GoPro solo page. Did you guys see my live on a GoPro?
Did you guys see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? I saw where she went early, but I missed it. And I don't know if she deleted it. 12:44 p.m.
Did you guys see my live on a GoPro solo production just now? I just did like a 10 to 20 minute live there, and then for some reason the connection was interrupted. Usually it's people who are less intelligent, who are trying to do something nefarious, who kind of interrupt the connection. So I hope to God that you guys were able to hear the message. If not, I will re-record it later, but I don't feel like doing it now. So if you have any questions or you'd like to put in any input or say anything of value, please feel free to use the DM. It is open.
2:17 p.m. What does no capping mean?
If I were to say to you guys, there's no capping allowed, do you know what that means? I say most people know what that means. I say most people know. Xavier says no one knows. So answer right here if you know what that means.
No hats allowed. No uppercase cap lock typing. No lying, fake allowed. No clue. No idea. Is it like bragging or lying? Means unlimited overtime. If this is kid speak, zero cares to learn. No. Yes. I love it.
My two favorite answers: unlimited overtime and no caps lock. So we got a lot of responses. Surprisingly, about 80% of you, give or take, knew what it meant, and like 20% did not. So it means don't lie, tell the truth, no cap, don't
Or you could just say, don't lie. Don't tell no stories. Don't lie. Tell the truth.
cap, stop capping.
Act your age.
It's not just something the kids say, it's actually something that many people who know slang say. So it's this dialect of speech.
Yeah, it's the people you hang around.
It's not just something the kids say, it's actually something that many people who know slang say. So it's this dialect of speech that applies to anyone from any race and any age. If you know, you know. And if not, Urban Dictionary that shit. If you're wondering what part of that song is relevant besides the whole thing, but you're not a fan of rap, there's a transcript. You can click on the lyrics, the transcript on YouTube. Also, the intro where Donald Trump is saying, your schools are not shit, you're living in poverty, blah, blah, blah. That part is highly relevant to Charlie's the argument that he's making. And then if you go to the end of the song, he's being interviewed. Meek Mill is being interviewed, and he says, if you grew up in a ruthless neighborhood where the
Did
police
you just say Meek Mill? I'm done.
do not answer your calls, and you've seen 7 people die, you'd probably carry a gun too, wouldn't you? And the guy says, yes, I would. Now, if you have a gun and you're in danger, chances are you're going to pull it out. So I respect a lot of the Turning Point USA and Charlie's opinions and viewpoints, but he's blatantly and plainly wrong on this matter.
Okay, so I obviously missed the live because I was on my way to child's birthday party. And I got a glimpse, and it was nothing what I thought it was. Apparently, I missed a lot, and this is why it got deleted. Follow them on Instagram. I really needed to add this to my video since I didn't get it because I think it's a very important clip. I guess trigger warning. I don't really do those things. I don't know how people are, but I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I did hear certain things, it kind of made me cringe and I wasn't very happy with her. She left the room to take some hits off the duster can. If you listen closely, you can hear the spraying of the can. The noise, then you hear her hitting it multiple times and exhaling. And obviously, she's high AF, as usual, FTR. I almost thought she fell, and I got scared for her. And I'm scared. I honestly did not want to believe she was doing this shit again. And I just think of Aaron Carter. I don't want to bring it up, but, like, how dare you?
Tuning in.
Do you have the key card?
I'm gonna need it, but you can help me.
You're leaving?
I don't know why, and I need you to stop being interrupted. Please and thank you.
Great. How am I gonna get back into the building?
Do you know what this means?
Okay, so I think we already got to the most important clip of the story or the live, but I wanted to also cover BCG. She got this. So goprohobo 2, BCG. Please follow, subscribe, like, comment, all of it. They're good people. So I'm going to try to just record and react if I can while this plays. Because, unfortunately, I missed the live, but thankfully we have others who got it.
Few minutes, and thank you guys for tuning in.
Alright, let's listen.
Do you have the key card?
I'm gonna need it, but you can help me.
You're leaving?
I'm on a live, and I need you to stop being interrupted. Please and thank you.
Okay, so, yeah, this isn't gonna, that didn't last long, sorry. The most important part was coming up, and I just couldn't even wait that long. The way that they talk to each other, okay, so he's in her room quite often to not sleep there unless there's, like, nighttime rules. I have no idea. So my question is, what is he asking for, the link card, or is he asking for the key card, like to get into the shelter, like to get into the room, I'm assuming? Also, why are you looking for a card? Are you about to leave, or are you doing something else in the bathroom? And then he was like asking Heather, what are you leaving? And she's like, I'm on a live. You need to be quiet. And it's just the way that they speak to each other, especially the way Heather speaks to Xavier. It's very telling. And then just remember, we only see a little bit.
You're leaving?
I'm on a live, and I need you to stop being interrupted. Please and thank you.
And now there's other people around. Okay, so let me say, I don't like the feeling I got in my stomach whenever I heard that. And usually that means something bad happened. I don't know what that sounds like, so I don't know if that's what she was doing. But it did sound like it could be. And the way she was inhaling like that, the only thing I could think of would be an inhaler, because I have to use one, but I don't think that's what she was doing at all. And the way she was kind of like, well, like it almost felt like she lost her balance, or she was like almost about to fall. It was just kind of weird. I don't know. Kind of upset with myself, and then it makes me I don't even care about Heather anymore, because it's like, are you really doing Duster? Like, I thought that was like out of your system, and I really try to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I swear if you did that whenever you was pregnant, Heather, you're a dirty person. Kind of speed it up some. This is ridiculous. What is... Wish I could fast forward it more. I can't do this. I'm so tired. I need like 10 times the speed. How long does she keep a toothbrush in her mouth? Oh my gosh. That was weird. That was weird.
Hi guys, thank you for congregating here and waiting for me patiently. I told everyone on the One Heather G page that it was going to be 2 p.m. and on the One Heather G, so I'm just trying to give everyone a moment. So give me just, I'm almost done.
Sure, you're not prepared.
If you're new here, thank you for coming. If you've been here from the beginning, thank you for still being here. I started my professional career in the medical field. So I was an administrator at Northwestern Hospital for multiple physicians. And we started off, or they started off in the fields, for me anyways, in the fields of endocrinology, rheumatology, and primary care, so internal medicine. I did diabetic education for them. And I also did things that were considered clinical as well as administrative functions. What I mean by that is injections. So patients would need injections, vaccinations, blood draws. That's called phlebotomy. I worked in pretty much every capacity of a medical office. And that starts with vitaling. Well, in literal terms, it starts with checking in a patient. So you guys walk into your doctor's office and there's someone sitting in the front desk. I've sat in that position. I've sat in the position of office manager and everything in between, from the front end to the back end, other than the doctor. So I have done pretty much everything in a medical office that you can think of that makes the medical office run effectively and efficiently. And I'm very grateful for all of those years' experience. I'm actually currently right now applying to 1,000,001 effectively and efficiently. And I'm very grateful for all of those years' experience. I'm actually currently right now applying to 1,000,001 jobs, not literally, obviously. I average between 50 and 300 resumes that I send out a month. I'm looking for a remote position in medical billing and coding or coding. And I was also interested in looking for sponsors who will help me start up my own practice. I know there are a lot of physicians who have lost or been left out of collecting a lot of money for services that have already been rendered. And I would love to help you, go after that money. That doesn't mean you're going after your patients. It means that you are adjusting your billing and your coding so that the insurance will cover it. And a lot of doctors don't have a lot of experience with that, especially in the days before most physicians were starting to work with corporations like Northwestern, Edwards, Presence, just to name a few. So in those larger capacities, there are billing departments who usually do a really good job. They're pretty much highly effective at knowing what to bill, how to bill it to get the maximum reimbursement. I personally am really great at doing so, mostly because of the experience I have in the clinical setting. But if you are a private physician, a plastic surgeon, or a dermatologist, it would be more of a learning curve, but I could definitely take it on. I'm used to more clinical, things, because when we're going after insurances for reimbursement, most of the time, unless it's as an effect of some sort of mistake during an original plastic surgery or a cancer, or something of that nature, and you need reconstructive, the insurance will not cover it. So dermatology and plastic surgery is more elective, and insurance is not going to cover that much. But for all the rest of the doctors who are working in any other sort of specialty, gastroenterology, internal medicine, endocrinology, rheumatology, neurology, urology, what else? I said gastroenterology, neurology, endocrinology, rheumatology, internal medicine, urology. Yeah,
No
and pretty
knows
much
why you're even on there.
ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctors. If you guys are any of those physicians or you are a sponsor, those are the types of physicians that I would be able to, get reimbursement from insurances. Those are all medical doctors that are not elective procedures for the most part. And as I said, especially in these smaller doctors' offices, they need help. They need help. The smaller doctors' offices need help. They're not getting reimbursed. And let me explain why. I have a lot of insight that you might not have. If you're a sponsor, this is for you. And then we'll get into my background apart from professionally.
Oh, no.
So about 15, maybe even closer to 20 years ago, we began to implement electronic medical records. And when we began to do so, we gave people about 5 years total to get on board. And the United States government began fining these people tremendously. So if you were a doctor and you had your own practice and you were not able to switch to an EMR, which stands for electronic medical record, or an EHR, electronic health record, the government started saying, well, maybe the private insurances will still pay you, but we're not going to. So, and they have their reasons. I'm not going to get into that. But for the doctors, it became incredibly difficult to keep up with their patient loads, to keep the lights on in these offices, to continue paying back their student loan debt if they had any, and to remain in the green, so to speak. This is why most of the corporations, Northwestern, Edwards, Presence, Rush, just to name a few, were able to acquire these physicians. No one really wants to go to the corporate world from their own private office, because you make your rules, you make your schedule. In corporate, you have quotas. So it's very business-like. If you don't see a certain number of patients, you are either punished or let go or replaced or moved to a part-time basis without benefits or any number of things in a lot of instances. So the doctors who could not keep up with the demand, they ended up, being forced into early retirement in a lot of these instances. Now, if you were able to hang on, and there are a certain number of them who have been able to hang on, who do need help, a lot of them are eye doctors. A lot of them, smaller eye doctors, and a lot of them have billing going back 10, 20 years ago. They're not going to get all of the reimbursement on that, but there is room and opportunity for reimbursement on a lot of the past 5 to, I believe, 7 years. It might be 6 though. And the way we would do that is just simply by reviewing their medical records. So you get the bill that's rejected, the patient gets a copy and the doctor gets a copy. And we make a contract with the doctor that basically says, we would like to represent your practice with regards to billing and coding. We'd like to remove it from the in-house setting. I can do it remotely from wherever I am. And we basically have all of those rejected claims forwarded to me. And I would go over them. I would need access to the EMR. I would go into the patient's chart. It could be a read only. It needs to be a read only so that there is no risk of any changes being made to the chart. What then happens is I review the doctor's notes. I look at what was billed and I connect the dots. Okay, this was not paid for because this diagnosis code is asthma and you're billing an issue of the retina, so obviously the insurance is going to say nope and reject it automatically. Now, what happens with these doctors is they don't have time to look through these claims. When they don't have time to look through these claims, there are hundreds of thousands of dollars of reimbursement they are owed that are stacking up. And as time passes, they forfeit that money. So they would really benefit from a person like myself to provide a service where I can go through these claims. And there might already be an AI function for this. If there is, oh my God, what do I do for money? No, I'm just kidding. But for real though, where you just go by the patient's diagnoses and match them to diagnosis codes that match the payout. And AI is going to have this all in their systems already because AI is EMR, right? So electronic medical record, that's AI integrations to electronic medical records. They translate throughout. They speak the same code, right? That's computer language for you. So it's really dynamic, but a lot of these doctors did not get paid. And what we can do is simply have those claims forwarded to us and match them with a diagnosis code and procedure code, CPT, ICD, that match each other for reimbursement. And it's a no risk type of situation because we're not asking for hourly rates for myself as the employee. We're asking for commission-based incentive only. So only when the doctor gets reimbursed would I be paid, and it would be a percentage. The reason I'm asking for sponsors is because I need some equipment that will make for a safe environment for me to do this. I need a computer. It could even be a Chromebook, I think. I'm pretty sure Chromebooks are that advanced now that they can run these extensions and software, and have open API integrations. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they can. Chromebook, I think. Asking for sponsors is because I need some equipment that will make for a safe environment for me to do this. I need a computer. It could even be a Chromebook, I think. I'm pretty sure Chromebooks are that advanced now that they can run these extensions and software, and have open API integrations. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they can run EMRs and EHRs through a Chromebook. If I'm wrong on that, I know there are laptops in the comparable price range as Chromebooks that can do it. So, the sponsor comes in where I need setup cost and also some marketing would be great. But I do have doctor friends myself who I can email and let them know this is what I'm doing now, and they can tell, people that they know. So I do kind of have a leg in the door, so to speak, when it comes to this field, and specifically in the Chicago and Chicago land area. I do also know some people who work for pharmaceutical and medical device sales who I can, share the word with, and they can tell other people respectively. The medical field is a big world, also very small. And I do have a very great reputation in the medical field. I don't have any issues there. I've never been reprimanded. I've never been asked to leave. I've never been accused of anything, nefarious. So I have a stellar recommendation when it comes to the medical field.
Then go back and work there.
GoPro Solo was born after I left the medical field. I began working in the medical field in 2005, and I stayed there until 2015. And then I went back and forth a little bit. I did some work in 2016, and I did some consulting and just general advice after that. But my full-time employment was from 2005 to 2015 in the medical field, for the most part. So where did I start? It's a funny story. Actually, my first full-time job in the medical field was right after I finished First Institute, which was a course through the government for medical billing, coding, medical law and ethics, HIPAA, and all of these things. And it was a free course for young single moms that was subsidized through the government in Lombard, Illinois. And I learned a lot there. It was a full-time, so I would be there, a full-time course. I would be there all day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we would have homework, and we would, do a lot of studying during that time. But we learned all of the things that I needed to know to do administrative function. I then started college for nursing. After taking a 9-month certified medical assisting and phlebotomy course. So then I was already a year into the medical field when I transferred to community college for another 2 years of studying when I transferred to AIU, American International Intercontinental University, AIU, and that was where I started applying credits towards a 4-year degree. There have also been many other schools and, fitness certifications, nutrition and fitness through NCCPT, ISSA. NASM, I have completed all of the coursework for. I did not take the test. I did take tests for NCCPT as well as ISSA. So I have all 3 of the National Personal Training certification courses completed. I've read the books cover to cover. I've done all of the coursework. And it's pretty much the same thing. You don't have to memorize it because most of the time people are not asking you to give them a diagram of every muscle group, right? That's not what you need to practically apply lessons of personal training. You need to have access to the knowledge, and you need to have completed the knowledge if you advertise that you've completed the knowledge, and that's why someone is taking you as a trainer. But you can train legally in the United States without even having any of that. So I do have all of that, and that's my plan. So sponsors, if you're here, that's where I'm trying to go with regards to business. I have a newborn son, and I have 3 big kids, 10, 15, and 17. I have been homeless for the past since 2020. I spent 2020 to 21 living in the backseat of my vehicle or Airbnbs. I spent 2021 to 22 living on people's couches, friends' houses, applying to jobs, driving DoorDash, working for LA Fitness, working for Export. All of these jobs were very short term and did not really lead to the career paths that I was, hoping for. The entire time I continued doing GoPro Solo, which is my own production company that I created from the humble beginnings of webcam performer. So somehow I went from being an administrator at a very prestigious hospital to being a webcam performer. And there's a backstory there for sure. I've written blog posts about it at Merciful Storm. You guys can read that. I'll link that on this video in the comments of this video or in the description of this video when I'm done. But it was a period of tremendous darkness for me, a lot of darkness. And I'm not telling people what to do with their lives, but I am going to say that for me, working on a webcam was actually not in a sexy capacity was not good. What do you think happens with most people who work in any sort of capacity that's sexual for a long period of time? You start being targeted, you start being degraded, you start to dislike yourself, and either you are forced into this world of darkness or you grip on to whoever you were before you started for dear life and run in the opposite direction. And that was what was going on for me. It was just not for me. I made a little bit of money doing it, and I enjoyed being self-employed, but GoPro Solo was the way that I could take my humble beginnings of Cam Girl into a much larger, region and purpose and vision for myself. Doing statement modeling. I don't know if you guys have seen the Kanye West photo shoot where he went to speak. I believe it was kids at Columbia College here in Chicago, Illinois. He went to speak to these kids and he wore a Hanes white shirt, white sweater, similar to the one I have on, but it was all white. And he hand wrote with a Sharpie, Kaepernick. Referring to Colin Kaepernick. And at the time, if you're familiar with what was going on with the national anthem and Colin Kaepernick, Kanye was showing support for that issue. He was also wearing a red and white MAGA hat, Make America Great Again, which at the time was heavily influenced by the president at the time, Donald Trump. And there was this huge outcry over it. It was on all of these social media platforms. It was getting all of this attention in hip hop news and just in general. I mean, I think WGN was talking about it like online. So there was a lot of mixed reaction to his fashion statement. And I, at the time, was doing GoPro Solo statement modeling. And I decided to recreate the outfit pantsless. And I was wearing, a one-piece kind of bodysuit, but it was like a thong bodysuit, and I put fishnet stockings on, and I had, a long wig, and I put the hat on, and I staged the wall behind me to be all of these other like demographics of groups of people, Habibi, a brick wall. I put handcuffs on, a family, like a family of four, like this picture perfect, like family of four, a family on a yacht, some poor people, like all of these different cultures, demographics, races, causes. I put them all behind me, and I put this outfit on, and I wrote Kaepernick, and I put the hat on, and I put the bodysuit on, and I took these photos in handcuffs. And the significance, as it's referred to as statement modeling, was number one, what it meant to me, but number two, what it meant to my audience. And at this time, Coco Chanel YSL had 50 or 60,000 followers, just on Instagram alone. So that's not including all of the platforms that I was actually camming on. But there were probably close to hundreds of thousands of people who were consuming my content at any given time during those years. And so I wanted to take being, sexy and do something with that following. I had people paying attention. Attention is the currency, as we all say. Now, what do I do with it? And so I started to transition GoPro Solo from a sexy platform where we're like, shaking our butt and wearing thongs and no pants, to a more clothed platform that was speaking louder and more in your face about things that we found important. And by we, I mean my peer group, the internet, my children and their friends, my parents and their friends. So I, as a 29-year-old young woman, I have the very unique but not so unique perspective of not only seeing things through my own eyes, but getting that call from your dad that's like, Heather, what is this on the internet? What are you doing? And my dad barely even knows how to use the internet. So that's saying something. If it made it to him, it's reaching people, right? And also my children, who range in age from now being a newborn all the way to 17 years old. So there's so many generations, my grandmother, my sister, my mom, and there's so many generations that have perspective that I can listen to and I can learn from. And so I wanted to use GoPro Solo to make statements about the way we all are living and where the world is going from the perspective of these various eyes and these various audience demographics. And for me, that Kanye West photo shoot, the Donald Trump, Kanye West, sort of many vids, Cam Soda, it meant nothing to do with being sexy. It was the opposite. It was like, I'm in handcuffs here because I felt so oppressed. I felt like all of these girls working in this field can't get out and they're trapped there. And so they have no choice but to take their pants off and pose for a photo like this in order to get your attention. And Donald Trump and his Make America Great Again, and Colin Kaepernick and refusing the national anthem, and how far we've come as a country in positive and negative, right? We want equality in the sense that we all have opportunity and we can all live and grow and be happy and healthy. But we don't have that still. And we want opportunity for all, but we're trapping women, young women and young men into this identity of be sexual or get out, be sexual or don't receive payment. And I'm saying, fuck you, put your pants on. We can find another way. It's received a lot of blowback. There's been a lot of haters who make most of their money shaking butt. You know, that's what they do. And I'm very spiritual and religious as well. And I always have been. I never lost connection to God when I was doing all of that. I just didn't pray. I just didn't have time to nourish that relationship. My belief system never changed. I always knew it was wrong, but I felt trapped financially. I felt like I needed to be doing this to pay my bills, you know, and there's a whole bunch of backstory. As I said, I'm writing a novel. I'm on page 457, handwritten, because every time I sit down to type it, someone alters the language. So I'm waiting on another sponsor to offer me a protected device so that I can complete this project. And if that's you, please find and contact me. I'm desperate to get this story completed. I've been working on it for 7 years now. Maybe more. I also have written a thesis on post-traumatic stress disorder that I would love to publish. I have a lot of perspective to offer, and I would love to publish it in a formal setting. And I know that it can generate income, and I have a lot of ideas that can generate income. But GoPro Solo was never meant to generate income. GoPro Solo was meant to send a message. GoPro Solo was sent to funnel attention. GoPro Solo was meant to share perspective. And if you look at this page, this is just a fraction, a small fraction of all of the photo shoots that I've been involved in, curated, and created and directed and produced. There are many, many more, but GoPro Solo is where I am collecting, the ideas, and where I'm using it as a think board, a think tank, a place for conversation and perspective, as I said, to see what the next steps are and to curate for my own, topics of conversation and what I think are important for my personal blog, which is One Heather G. Mercifulstorm.com is another page here on Instagram that I created in 2020. There's Do You Doll. There is HLG Forever _. There is the number 1 Heather GEE. So that was my very, very